On this episode of Lapeef Let's Talk,
Most people do not make 250K a year. Let's use that as like the baseline. Hardly anyone does, like on the grand scheme, you know what I'm saying? The vast majority of our population in America does not make that much money. So the average woman is dating, marrying, whatever, the average man. And even men that don't make the average amount of money are still out here in the dating market and being successful. That is why a lot of people complain about, I don't even like to say the terminology that some of y'all use about the P's and the R's. But a lot of people complain
wait,
about
what is a
men.
The cookies and Ray Rays.
Oh,
A lot of people complain about these men
The
that
P's
may
and the
not have
R's.
Because when I
Jay.
thought P, I was like, what?
rock thing or whatever. Like I've seen this sentiment shared multiple times, and I just do not think that it's true across the board. I think there are plenty of men who don't provide much or anything that women love. Some women, I mean.
All right. Gordon?
I think women want to believe that. I think that women try to tell ourselves, well, he ain't providing. That's all right. I can hold it down for him. Sure, yeah. It gets old, and it's not for long. It's not for a very long time. I think men are loved first for being a provider because that's what women want. And if you're not satisfying that woman as being a provider, then it does fade. It's the reason why divorce, the number one or number two reason is because of financial issues that men can't provide. And it's a turnoff for the woman, for a majority of women. So are men only loved for what they can provide? Yes. Yes, you are. And I hate to say that, but it's the truth. And the numbers show that it's the truth. There's not a woman on this panel that's going to say, yes, I want to be the head of the household. Not a one. Well, why not? That man might be a great man, sweet man, caring, love him kids. He can be all that. But once you become that head of the household, you lose respect, and then the love is out the door. So why are men only loved for what they can provide? Because a woman wants a provider.
All right. Gentlemen, what we think about it?
I think that Courtney is spot on. I think that there's a difference between love and lust. The thing about it is that I think that when you start to say that, okay, so the question is, why are men only loved for what they can provide, right? And when I think about love, I think about something that lasts for longer than whatever it is the moment that you win, right? Anybody can be housed up for a chick, but at the end of the day, eventually she get tired. And that love or whatever it is that they think is love, which I don't really think is love. I think it was just, it was an infatuation, or maybe she felt like she can change him because he had potential and he fit one box, but he didn't fit the other two or three or whatever like that. I think that junk wear off eventually because basically women are their primary focus, especially as they age, is to be provided and protected for. And so when it comes back down to it, I think that the men that are celebrated the most, the men that are embraced the most, it often at times comes along with his ability to provide. That's just really what it comes down to. Like anybody can say that they love somebody. Like that's puppy love. That don't count. That's like in high school. That don't count. You love me, I love you. I love you, I love you too. Like, yeah, don't say it so fast next time because you didn't even hear me say it. You didn't even know I was gonna say it that time. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't just respond. That's not love. That's just people responding to each other. There's plenty of people that say they love each other and they like ship selling in the night. That doesn't necessarily translate, right? A guy that brings home the bacon, and you can even relate this to way, way back in the day. These chicks stayed with dudes that was with other chicks and all of that based off of his ability to provide. He took care of the bacon. He took care of the home. She never had to work. She was always going to be what it is that she wanted to be. And I'm not saying that that was right, but I'm saying that her affection and her translation of him loving her was his ability to make sure that they was taken care of and her kids was taken care of. That's how they translated it. That's just real.
But do you think providing is more than just money itself for a man?
I think that in 2022, it largely is based off of your ability to generate revenue, because we don't live in the Stone Ages, right? I ain't worried about nobody, coming through and burning up the village. And even back then, it came with your ability to get to the bag, because, your ability to build bigger walls and have servants and all of that other type of stuff. And people that fortified what it is that you was doing was based off of your earning ability and your ability to generate revenue. And so in 2022, yeah, provision looks a little bit different when you get into the bag, because you ain't got to be subjected to living in the same neighborhoods as the other chick. You know what I'm saying? Your kid can go to a different type of school. You may not have to come in and bring resources into the household, and we need your paycheck in order to survive. We need your 40% contribution or your 50% contribution in order to survive. Now she can live in her femininity and be able to really move a certain type of way and be able to subject herself to you a lot differently, because she ain't got to worry about resources. Yeah, that'd make a huge difference.
So, because when I look at this statement, it's basically also saying, why are men only loved for their money, right? So do you feel that, let's say, God forbid, I don't even say this, a man and a wife of y'all's nature, you and Rita's nature, you lost all your money, would his wife not love him no more because of that money?
No, I don't think that. I think Rita is a special girl, so it's a little bit different than her. I don't think that you can even compare 99% of women to Rita. She a different breed. But if you just want to use a real example, most dudes that lose their money and they out for a significant amount of time, if she can't see no way, she gonna be out.
Isn't that only if the woman got with the man because of his money?
Yes.
Okay, so like in general, most people do not make 250K a year. Let's use that as like the baseline. Hardly anyone does, like on the grand scheme, you know what I'm saying? The vast majority of our population in America does not make that much money. So the average woman is dating, marrying, whatever, the average man. And even men that don't make the average amount of money are still out here in the dating market and being successful. That is why a lot of people complain about, I don't even like to say the terminology that some of y'all use about the P's and the R's, but a lot lot of people complain about
the cookies and Ray Rays.
a lot of people complain about these men
The P's and the R's.
When I thought P, I was like, what?